Hey, what's up, guys? This is your boy Travis back again here at Big Boy Toy Reviews. And I know what you're saying. Damn, Trav, you finally got the Mafex Captain America late as fuck. And I am also saying, damn, you right. I be getting my shit shipped too fucking late. So sorry. It just I mostly shop on Hobby Link Japan, and when you have the size of private warehouse that I have, and I try to get the amount of things I try to get shipped at once, damn, that shit gets expensive, man. Like, we talking like $300 and some dollars. So it's hard to get stuff shipped, and I don't want to ship one figure for like $45. So you know. Anyway, well, let's take a look at the box. We can see Captain American. Captain America can do some throwing. He can do some punching. He can do some comic booking. He can do some standing. He can do some pointing, some more throwing, some blocking, some no masking, some angry facing, some neutral facing, and some shield showing off. And typical Mafex box always has the nice big window in so you can see everything you got in there for the most part. But we are not here to see the box. We are here to see me talk about this like 2-3 months late. So anyway, there are some questionable design options. Not design. There are some questionable paint decisions here that are quite odd. There's definitely some design choices that they made that are questionable. For instance, look how long his calf is. His calf to his ankle. I guess from the knee to the ankle. That is extremely long. That is way too long. Like, look at this. Look how far, look how much longer it is than his thigh. That is nuts. He can almost hit the middle of his back, or the middle of his lower back. That's crazy. I know Mafex is notorious for making the legs way too long, but this seems to be a little bit out of control. And then they made some questionable shading choices. Why did they make the shading on his arms blue? Now, it's kind of hard to see on camera, but you can kind of see that. I wonder if I change my lighting, will that help? Yeah, they kind of, I don't know why they made that blue. So they did some blue shading on the white. That's very odd. On the other side, they did the same thing. Then they did blue shading on his abs. Why? Why is there blue shading on his abs? The stripes aren't blue. I don't get that choice. Even on the back, there's some blue shading. Very, very odd. Now, the shading on his legs is really, really nice. I do like the dark shading that they're using there. I don't mind that at all. Here on his back and on his butt, that looks really good. At least on the back of his legs and his butt. Now on his back, it's kind of all over the place. It's not very uniform. So it's kind of splotchy a little bit. It's not terrible, but it could definitely be better. Now, on his chest, I can see some spray here at the top and maybe a little bit right here at the bottom of his pecs. The butterfly joints seem to have some shading. I think I do see some shading on the shoulders, but I'm not 100% sure. I think there is some shading on those shoulders. Yeah, and we also have some shading here on the gloves, on the boots. But those legs, man, those legs are just crazy long. Crazy, crazy long. But the sculpting for the scales are really, really good. When I looked at pictures, they seem to be way more soft than this, but I think they came out really, really nicely. The belt is painted very well. The boots are just red. There's nothing really special about the boots other than wrinkling. The stripes are painted nicely. I do like that. The star is painted really nicely on the front and the back. His head looks good. I think he's a little bit on the pale side. You can't really tell from the camera, but when you look at him, he does look quite pale to me, but it's not terrible. He do have some blue seem to be seeping into his ears there, but it is what it is. Well, all in all, the sculpting for his gloves are really nice. Thank God they actually sculpted gloves, unlike some companies. Same thing with the boots. Actually, technically, Marvel Legends typically does sculpt Captain America boots when he has these particular boots, but I do digress. The A on his head is also painted very nicely and as well, and you can see those beautiful baby blue eyes. So he looks fantastic. He looks great. There are obviously some proportioning issues with the legs, but I do think the proportioning looks pretty good for the torso and the diaphragm. So I think I can deal with the leg issue for the most part. They needed to either make him bigger here or shorten these just a smidget. Like, they needed to cut them about right there. I think because they're ultimately reusing the same molds, but sculpting this piece around that mold, that might be what they're doing. And so they don't want to make any new molds for legs. But these legs are getting long in the tooth for Mafex. They need to start coming up with some new stuff. But anyway, that's it for the aesthetics. Let's go ahead and take a look at his accessories. Alrighty, so for accessories, we're gonna start off with the hands here. He comes with what looks like would probably be some shield holding hands, but you gotta love Mafex. I love it when they put it on these on these little hand racks. I love these things. But so he gets 2 of those. He gets 2 of these just kind of open hands. I guess maybe he can hold the shield in these hands. Not 100% sure. Then he gets just some kind of grabby hands, like he's about to grab something or choke somebody. Just 2 of those. Then he has some other, could also be shield holding hands, I guess. He doesn't have anything else to hold but his shield, so I could say that, or maybe these are some like jerking off hands. Then he comes with 2 spread open hands like this. So if he like wants to slap somebody in the face, slap some ass, we got some ass slapping hands. And then we got some pointing hands, or some booger picking hands, or some sticking the finger up the butt hands. We can just call these multi-use hands. And then we get what some people might call Superman hands, or I guess for him they would be shield throwing hands. So you can kind of slide the shield through these things and simulate him throwing. He gets 2 of these shield handles, I guess. I'm not quite sure what he would need 2 of these for. They seem to be about the same. I mean, this is probably for when he simulates the throwing. So these will probably slide through here like this. I assume that's what these for. I haven't read the directions and I'm not going to open them, but that's probably what those are for. Then he gets a downed cowl, so that's nicely done, and that will go with his unmasked head. So nicely painted. Very, very nicely painted. The blonde hair is nicely sculpted. Can't tell if there's any shading in it or not, but it's a really, really nice head. I'm gonna keep the plastic on this. I see no need to ever pose my Captain America without a mask on, so we'll keep you nice and pristine, buddy. Then we have the angry face, the super duper angry face. Well, I don't know about super duper angry. He might just be a little pissed. Just as nicely done as the previous face. And then for his weapon, he gets his shields. And this would be the shield that he would carry on his back if he's not using it. Very, very nicely done. I wouldn't say it's candy apple red, but it is a nice, shiny, pretty red. Very, very nicely painted. Very, very nicely painted. Then these straps now. This one came off when I was pulling him out the box. So are these supposed to be able to come apart? Because none of the other ones seem to be coming out very easily, and I'm afraid to pull them out. So I'm wondering if I should just glue this back in, because I believe he can get this on his back without having to detach this. So I might actually have to read the directions for that, because if it's not supposed to come out, then I'm definitely going to glue that back in, because it's super annoying and it won't stay in when it's on his back. So I might have to look into that. But he gets that shield, so he gets 2 shields, and then he gets this shield for holding. Yeah, this is the shield of holding. And so I believe these hands can go through this also. So does this work too? I mean, technically that can work. Seems like it'll be a little loose though. Maybe those 2 other ones will hold it in there more snug. And then he gets the absolute ridiculous amount of stand stuff. I mean, he gets all the freaking clamps that I think Mafex makes. So yeah, I'm not gonna open this because I don't ever use these. But if you use this stuff, you know what it looks like. I don't need to pull it out the bag to show you. We should all be familiar with Mafex and Mafex stands at this point. If you're not, then I guess get with the program. Anyway, let's move on to articulation. He does have a double ball peg joint, and it's your typical Mafex bent hinge. I don't think I have to show you, but do like to show you. And it is in the right direction. I usually like to push mine with the bend going toward the back so he can get more looking up action, so he can look up that far, down that far. Definitely gets the side to side, so that is beautiful. So that head is wonderful. Typical Mafex though. A little bit past horizontal there for the shoulder. Can go all the way around. Gonna get some squeaking on mine at least. That butterfly joint is oof. And it's somewhat useful. Not really though. I'll probably throw some shock oil in there, but yeah, you're not gonna get too much butterflying out of that joint, unfortunately. Bicep swivel there, nicely over 90 degrees with that elbow, and it still looks good. Ball hinge wrists. As far as the torso, we're just gonna use them both at the same time. He can go back that far and then forward. Don't push him too far because he will pop out. Show niggas. He can go that far, so not the greatest movement for Cap here. I do have some paint transfer getting on the white. I was a little worried about that. Probably should have, I don't know. I'm going to display him, so I don't want to keep the plastic on, but I'm doing my best to keep the red lines lined up and not to get into too much of the white. You do get a twist joint here, also a twist there. You get a good amount of side to side when you use all those joints. As far as the splits, he can get splits about that far. It's Captain America. Should he be able to do full splits? I think so, but you don't see him do it that much. Thigh swivel is Mafex style thigh swivel, not great. As far as kicking, he can kick out that far. He does kick off to the side a little bit, but if you bring it in, you still can get horizontal or maybe even a little bit over. Nothing to the back because of those butt cheeks. I showed you this earlier, that ridiculously long calf joint there. It's just too long. You do get a twist there at the ankle. Then going up is almost nothing, so that's unfortunate. Down is good. Toe joint, it's kind of loose. And then you do get a nice ankle rocker. So definitely by no means the best Mafex has ever done when it's come to nowhere near the best articulation Mafex has made, but I guess it's passable for Cap. He is supposed to be somewhat agile, and I guess you can say this figure is somewhat agile. We're not talking about a Black Panther or anything. I like him, but let's go ahead and get to some comparisons. Hopefully I don't go overboard with him. Alrighty, and here he is next to the Mafex Thor and the Mafex Iron Man. I forget what suit that is for Iron Man, but Thor is on a stand. Actually, if I do this, I do have an extra stand that I took off a figure that didn't need it anymore. So let's put him on the stand. Now, obviously, I can't have him flying, but if you kind of want to see a height difference, between the two, Thor is too short, and we've all known Thor was too short. So I never bought the torso extender for Thor. I just thought it made him look ridiculous personally. So I just kept mine the same, but he is too short in my head. I think he's, well, is he taller? Damn it, Thor. I can't really tell if Thor is taller. I want to say they're about exactly the same height. Either way, there should be a noticeable difference, if you ask me, and there's really no noticeable difference. And then when we talk about Iron Man, Iron Man is about right here. I think Iron Man might be a little bit taller. He is in a suit, so I would expect him to be a little bit taller than Captain America. Unfortunately, this Iron Man does not have a good looking up joint. But anyway, that's what he looks like with these two. Alrighty, and here he is next to the Rebel Tech Black Panther and the Marvel Legends Miss Marvel. He fits in well with Marvel Legends, obviously. He should be bigger than her. I'm basically using her in place of Black Widow because Black Widow is kind of like I have her stuck to my my display, so I don't want to move her. So this is basically the same. She's basically the same size, I think, as I just said it, Black Widow. She's about the same size. So, but yeah, that's what he looks like with them. And here he is next to the Superman Returns Mafex Eradicator, and then we have the Nightfall Batman. I definitely think there's some upper thigh reuse here between these guys for sure. There's definitely probably some calf reuse here between these guys for sure. They're about the same height. He's probably about the same height. Yeah, so there's some reuse here, no doubt, at least in the legs. Torso is obviously new sculpt because of the scales, but yeah, I mean, obviously the gloves, boots. People want to like try to give Mafex passes, and Mafex stop giving these OEMs passes. They don't deserve your passes, man. These motherfuckers have modes that they are reusing over and over and over again. They don't have excuses I don't give Mafex or anybody a pass for not re-releasing stuff that they should have easily been able to re-release, bringing out stuff late, knowing they should have been able to bring it out, and all these ridiculous delays. I don't give them any grace for any of the fuck ups that they bring on to themselves. So that's all I gotta say. I'm not gonna go on a big rant about it, but nah, fuck them. You pay your money for these figures, you buy them, you expect them to be delivered, you expect them to come to you in the condition that they were, that you saw them online when you ordered them, or better, not worse, not with paint malfunctions, breaking, all that other bullshit. And then they want to act like they don't want to respond, you know? So no. Anyway, and finally here he is next to the Hush Superman and the Black Suit Spider-Man. The Black Suit Spider-Man's a little hard to see. He looks good with them. Spider-Man, I still think he's a little short, even compared to Hush Superman, because Hush Superman is maybe a little bit shorter than Cap. I mean, Spider-Man is shorter, but isn't Cap like 6'2", 6'3", or something like that? Either between 6'1" and 6'3", I think. And I don't think Spider-Man is typically over 6 feet tall, or even at 6 feet tall. So I don't know how tall Superman is supposed to be. But anyway, that is it for articulation. That is it for comparison. Alrighty, so in conclusion, I mean, you guys already know this dude is awesome, man. He's a fantastic figure. For what you get 2 shields, which I love. You know, you get a ton of hands, which is typical for Mafex. But, and you get the throwing hands, the unmasked head. You get a lot for this. Does he have some issues? Does he have his flaws? Yes. Can you pose them away? You absolutely can. Are they deal breakers? Absolutely freaking not. This is the definitive Captain America. I am personally, subjectively, am just so excited to have him in my collection. I have been needing a Captain America. I was looking to get the Marvel Legends Captain America. I'm still probably gonna get it just to do a comparison review and actually see if that's any good, because they look good. Like the Marvel Legends Captain Americas, like the last two that they've brought out, they look good to me, and so I want to at least try to get one of those into my collection. Unfortunately, the one that comes with the stupid reflective shield thing has like a broken shield, and I know it's supposed to be from, I know it's from Secret Wars, and so that's why it's a broken shield. But they could have gave you a broken shield and a non-broken shield. But that's how Hasbro does their customers. They just shit on their customers because they don't care. They could have easily gave you a non-broken shield, but they didn't. So I think this is the definitive Captain America. I would argue he's better than any Marvel Legends Captain America. I don't have one to compare him to, obviously, because if I did, I would have done that in the comparisons. I'm sure there's some people that would say that he's not, because at least they have both copies and can do a comparison. So we'll see. But for here in my display, this is the definitive Captain America, and I think he looks fantastic. So anyway, remember to keep looking out for that 1,000 subscriber giveaway. Also, comment, like, and subscribe. And until next time, peace.